From the breeding grounds through the migration routes to the southern wintering areas, Ducks Unlimited has been conserving waterfowl habitat for 86 years. DU volunteers and supporters have helped conserve over 15 million acres, but the work isn't done yet. To play your part in the next 15 million acres, visit www.ducks.org and join our volunteer team, or find an event near you. Ducks Unlimited, the world leader in wetlands and waterfowl conservation.
Bottomland is Mossy Oak's original camo pattern created by Toxie Hayes over 3 decades ago. This pattern preserves the original design while applying advanced technology for increased effectiveness. The same field-proven components and colors, the same dirt and bark elements, the same ability to blend into dark environments and obscure a hunter's outline from every angle. Mossy Oak Bottomland.
Get up.
Welcome, folks. Y'all come on in and make yourself at home. This here, well, this is the Rolling Thunder Podcast, your home for all things Rolling Thunder. This episode is brought to you by Mossy Oak, because everything is better in Bottomland. Kent Cartridge, quality matters, performance counts. Shen Gear, waterfowl gear that is built better. Benelli USA, dominate the skies. And Ducks Unlimited, the world's leader in wetlands and waterfowl conservation.
Well, welcome to another episode of the Rolling Thunder Podcast. I'm your host, Spence Halford. I'm joined by three-timer Drake Levy, zero-timer, although back-to-back Media Employee of the Week, Levi Gerke.
I'm here.
And
the real Dr. Grid.
Riley Bennett.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Today, our guest is, hold on, I gotta change gears. I was like, you know how sometimes your truck's like stuck in fifth gear? That's the way I felt right there. Like I was trying to be spirited in the intro and act really jazzed up, and I'm actually just exhausted. Kind of looking forward to y'all going to play golf this afternoon so it can quiet down around here, and I can blame things. I can blame things that go wrong on y'all.
Do I get to go golfing even though I didn't show up early? No? Okay.
You can go golfing at 5. I mean, what, did you decide to sleep in this morning?
I didn't know that we were showing up to work early this morning.
It's okay, Gert. You can go play golf.
Okay, cool.
Hopefully none of the Sub-Rural Country Club members are listening and don't know about the, membership fraud that I'm just kidding.
Oh, gosh.
I'm just kidding. All right. So our guest today, who we've not yet introduced, is, the world's most interesting man, Mr. Walker Davidson. Welcome back to the podcast, Walker.
War Eagle. Oh, no. Sorry, I had to throw it in there.
Dang.
Oh, well.
Good to be back.
I mean, to be honest, I was sitting here trying to think about, has Auburn got a good football team this year? I don't really know.
Right. We're not bad. We're not good. But we're on the way up and up.
Okay.
That's how it usually goes, I think.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you're back from Canada.
Made it back last week sometime and spent a couple days in Auburn hanging out, see the fam and all that good stuff. And then picked up my dog from Adam down in Foster's and headed out west now for the regular season, the fun part, the good stuff.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Adam Campbell is ready to go to Alberta.
I bet he is.
When I talked to him last night, he was buying steaks for his whole staff. He was like, and I know for a fact you and RT, I can't remember who else picked up their dog. There
was at least 4 people came yesterday.
It's exit day. Adam's deuces.
I think a couple more coming today. I mean, I think this week they're about to get rid of them, and Adam's fixing to try to shoot a duck.
At dinner last night, Adam told Mr. D, I will see you in February.
That's Adam was talking about some of his buddies had a text, and one of them said, "Are y'all going to work tomorrow on Sunday afternoon?" And one of them responded, "If by tomorrow you mean February 10th, then yes."
That's good.
But yeah, it was good. We
Where were you this year, or who are you with?
so I work for Promised Land Outfitters and Ranchland Outfitters this year. Matt Barnett had been working at Ranchland, and him and Rob, the owner of Ranchland, partnered and started Promised Land. So we've got some new allocations, and so I went up with Barnett, and it was pretty awesome.
Are y'all around Peace River?
Yeah, we're in that area. And it's awesome country up there. When I found out that they had got those allocations, I had called Rob and Barnett immediately. I was like, guys, if it works out, I want to go to Peace River, you know. It was pretty neat, the goose hunting up there this year, you know, and I guess pretty much every year, but it's just hard to describe. The fields aren't really big, so like you probably find bigger feeds in Saskatchewan because the sections are bigger. So like sheer numbers wise in the field, like the feed itself may not be that big, but they're small fields. They set up right. You go in there and they come over the tree. I mean, it's like almost like
shooting resident geese.
Yeah,
like
man,
they're coming to that spot.
They come over the trees. You know, it's a 100-acre field, and they come over the trees just right there. You know, so
I feel like where we're at in Saskatchewan, they flare like 100 acres from you. They're coming, and about the time you can tell what color goose it is, they're like, yeah.
But yeah, you know, a lot of specs up there early, so that was. I mean, I think the first day with clients, they shot, you know, there's 7 limits of geese and almost all their ducks, and I would say probably 6 of the 7 limits were specs. So like at the beginning, it's a lot of specs, and then once they kind of start shipping out, I don't know, probably like the second 2/3 of the way through September, generally somewhere in there, and then when the rest of the Arctic geese start coming, I mean, it's crazy how those big geese and little geese, they all get together, and you'll have you know, in one flock you can see 4 different sizes of geese,
and they'll fly together. Really? Wow. Were they feeding together? Like
not, you know, when they get in the fields, a lot of times the big ones will end up, you know, off by themselves, or, you know, separated from the little ones,
feeding in the same
fields. And, you know, it's pretty cool. I mean, a lot of those, not a lot, but we found geese that were roosting on the Peace River and coming to feed. And then there was other geese that literally we would put our truck on the edge of the boreal forest, on the edge of the woods, and wait for the geese to come out of the woods and go to feed. I mean, so it was, when you're talking about getting the first crack at them, I mean, you know, we shot a speck that you could hold in 2 hands. I mean,
no kidding,
just that little, you know. So, I mean, it's definitely that part's pretty cool, is seeing just complete. It's kind of like Argentina in a way of where the birds are just completely never been messed with.
All right, hold on. That was a pretty subtle but badass flex. I'll just give you that. Kind of like Argentina, we're all like, huh?
We don't relate to that.
We're over here still mystified that you shot a limit of dark geese. We're like, how did you do that?
Yeah, I guess, you know, I mean, obviously Argentina is different just because there's certain things that are legal there that aren't legal other places. But I think that,
like cocaine or
you know, yellow acorns are pretty popular down there. Yeah. So, but I think that just seeing, it's so cool to watch birds that aren't messed with, that aren't pressured, that aren't refuge birds, that they just wake up and go do their thing every day, you know. And it, you know, the way you hunt and you learn to hunt birds like that, you get away with things, but you know it wasn't just right. So like you still kill them, but you're like, man, he wasn't perfect. Yep. So now I know, you know, I think you can learn so much more that way than just going and getting your butt kicked, right? And then, you know, all right, I learned that I need to get where they're going. That's pretty much all you learn there. But
y'all dive in with any questions that you got. Is Barnett a layout hunter or an A-frame hunter?
We do both. We'll lay in the spread sometimes if we have to, just kind of whatever.
Darks?
We've tried darks once. I got Barnett. I finally convinced him to try it once, but I don't think we put out enough decoys, so it didn't really work. But I'm working on him.
Like tall socks or what?
Yeah, we tried to do tall socks, and we just didn't have enough tall ones to cover everybody. Pretty much, I think, was the issue. But I think it's something that we do it a good bit in Oklahoma. We'll do it even, in fields that hadn't had geese in it, and we'll lay in whites and just, which y'all do that in Canada and stuff too. But
we got away from it this year.
Yeah, not anymore. That was a part of our prior life.
Okay.
It's rotation year.
I'm probably not even going to take a white decoy next year.
It's rotation year.
It's
rotation year. Yeah.
Man, I'll be honest, the ducks and the darks were not with the snow geese when we were up there.
Really?
And I know it kind of changes throughout the year, but I mean, we hunted the first morning in a white spread, and we got ducks to swing, but they'd swing once or twice and then roll.
Right.
And we killed some of them, but I mean, just watching them, the ducks were by themselves, or they were with a small group of dark geese. They weren't with the big wads of lessers.
I will say I saw that probably more this year. I found way more duck only feeds this year than last year. I mean,
we did too,
exponentially more.
No doubt.
Yeah, I mean, when you look for them too, that you can find them. I mean, once you find those ponds that just strictly have mallards on them, I mean, they're not going to usually go and feed with other geese or ducks. It's when those ducks and geese are roosting on the same pond, their tendency is to feed on the same field.
Yeah, that's in Peace River. Up there, it's not like the prairie pothole region up there. I mean, there's no little potholes in fields. It's way different than typical like North Dakota, Saskatchewan, or even where ranchland is in eastern Alberta is way more water. And so up there, even on the big lakes, the ducks and geese will roost on like opposite ends and stuff. I think it's weird. I don't know why it seems like they get more of the combo feeds are definitely further south and further east. Up there, it definitely seemed like. I mean, I'm not saying there was some combos, but I would say you talked to any of the other outfitters up there too. You don't have the doubles up there like you get in other places. You know.
Yeah.
What about the crane situation? Is there no cranes?
I saw probably one time one feed had maybe like 200 in it, and it was a couple thousand geese, couple thousand ducks, and like 200 cranes. They were there one day.
I think we didn't see cranes this year because of how late we went. I mean, I think they get out kind of like Specs do.
Yeah.
I know the years we've gone like earlier, mid-September or the September 20th, somewhere in there. And cranes are everywhere.
Crams. It's always
Yeah, I think. I definitely think the cranes. That's kind of. I guess we always use cranes and swans as kind of your migration markers a little bit. Like the cranes are pretty much in the front end, and then when the swans really get there, that's
right.
Kind of the towards the end, and when the swans start leaving, that's the end. So that's kind of, I guess, it makes sense. But I don't think that there's that many cranes that come that far west at all. Really, I mean, like I said, that handful that passed through, but there's way more cranes even in eastern Alberta than up there.
Did you see a difference in like maybe better or worse this year than your previous years guiding up there?
I definitely think there's more ducks. I mean, I think that the ducks had a better hatch, compared to last year. Just the ponds you would ride by that, they raise on, and last year there'd be a mama with 2 or 3 ducklings. Now it was 6 or 8. So, I mean, it just seemed like that. I know they said that the breeding population was down, but
we saw the same thing.
Even
and everybody we've talked to thinks the duck numbers are up.
I think
we're talking about that.
The ones that
rotation year.
Yeah, that's right. The ones that
it's because our friends Ducks Unlimited.
Oh,
It's
they're
definitely
good people.
They are good people. I mean, shout out to Ducks Unlimited.
Shout out.
Thanks, Ducks Unlimited.
But yeah, I think I definitely think that there's probably more ducks. I mean, the goose numbers thing, I don't have a good enough bearing. I mean, it's so hard to tell just whether there's more or less of them. I do think there's a pretty good juvie hatch snows. It seemed like there was the snow feeds.
We've seen a ton of
Jed
those.
made a comment to me the other day, Jed Lamb did, that he thought the lesser numbers were down pretty significantly.
I would say that I definitely saw more big geese this year than last year, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, is that because lessers are down, or is that just more big ones, or what? But I feel like we hunted and shot more big ones probably this year too.
How many bands y'all kill?
We killed like 7 in the first 5 days.
Dang.
Wow.
And then I don't think we killed any more after that. But if that first, we killed 3 in the first 3 days, and then they killed like 2 in 1. And we killed 1 more after that. Barnett's son Price came up, and Dive Bomb was up there hunting with us, and Price and them. Anyway, they killed a duck band, and it was Price's first duck hunt in Canada, so he got to keep the band.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was my field, but whatever.
No big deal.
Y'all have never met Price Barnett.
No, I haven't.
That boy right there is 12 going on 28.
He's as good naturally talented caller as I've ever heard.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Can absolutely blow the crap out of any form of call.
Like when he
Duck,
was
goose, cut down J-frame. I mean, doesn't matter. Hand it to him.
when he was up there with us. He's got like a Larry's hybrid on his lander, and he blew it, and then I let him blow the mean duck, and he blew with my XLS, and
He's like, I'll show you some videos. Like every duck call brand I can think of, he's come by their booth at some point in time, and they've taken a video of him blowing a duck call, and they put it up, and it goes viral.
Yeah.
Like Chad Belding did it just last year. It was like, a kid don't blow a jargon. Get out of here. But I mean, just blows a snot out of it.
Yeah.
Naturally talented and just absolutely eat up with it.
oh yeah,
I mean,
he loves it. And I mean, it helps to have Barnett to learn from, which that's what has been a great thing for me the last couple of years. Just
we got to
having
have
a guy
Barnett
that-
on the podcast.
Yeah, y'all do. I mean, having a guy like that he's a character. I mean, he tells you straight up, like, you try to ask him a question about duck hunting or something, he's like, why didn't they come in? Well, they saw us. What do you mean? That's all, whatever. I mean, he's kind of cut and dry, but he's funny too. So, but anyway, let's see. Yeah, I guess that was all we killed up north. That was the last band, was that duck band on Price's hunt. So, then we moved to the South Camp after like the first week of October.
South Camp being
Ranch land.
where Rob normally operates out of. So
that's
y'all
right.
just basically ran a half a season the month of September.
Yeah,
up there.
they just didn't get everything set up and rolling until later in the summer. So
Gotcha.
booking clients wise
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff, it just made more sense to do it
But
that way.
that's cool. So you got to see 2 years out of the South Camp. This will be your second year to kind of see and get a feel.
Yeah, and it was different down there this year too. I mean, the area I scouted last year, it was tough. Like, I saw more birds in my area in 2 days scouting down there after we moved camps. The first 2 days, I found more feeds and saw more birds than probably the whole season last year. I mean, just they have so many scouts. We divide up, like you scout your block every day or whatever,
Right.
and I had a lot more birds. So we had some really good hunts out of that, once we moved south, which I think it had something to do with that we hadn't beat on them up until that point either,
Yeah.
so they kind of had a little more.
Feels pretty good to like pull back in your territory, and you're like, I bet you driving from Peace River down there, I bet you had like 6 or 8 spots that you were like, I cannot wait to drive by that spot.
When on the way up, I spent 2 days out of the South Camp just riding around finding pea fields before we went north.
That's
so when
right.
I got back, I was like, all right, I know I got at least one of these fields.
There weren't many of them this year.
No,
They
a
were
lot
few
of
and
canola.
far between.
A lot of canola,
Yeah.
which, one of the farmers up north, we hunt on some Hutterite ground a good bit. And we, we're talking, me and the other scout. Y'all probably know Slayton Guerin. He was our other scout.
Really?
Me and old Slay Dog, yeah. We had a good time.
Slay Dog.
Slay Dog.
Me and him had a real good time. But yeah, anyway, we were talking to the farmers, and they said it was like $200 an acre difference in canola and peas this year. Like $100 more expensive to grow peas and $100 less on the profit. So, why wouldn't you grow canola,
Right.
Yeah,
But-
you're hearing the same things we are this year, that a lot of the farmers they're saying that pea fields are not going to be a primary field out there at all.
Yeah, one of our best contacts up there told us that they were dealing with a lot of disease in the root structure, like in the dirt,
Right.
and so it was just a huge liability.
A
to
couple
plant
years
peas.
of not growing peas, maybe it'll straighten out.
I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder too if they get rid of those pea fields. I wonder those ducks and geese, they're going to have to start hitting a lot more of them wheat fields. They're going to have to hit some type of grain field.
I'll say I think we hunted wheat, especially later in the year. I would say probably like the last 2 weeks. I don't know if we hunted a pea field really. It almost was.
They'll get in barley too. Barley and wheat look so similar, but
I guess I was getting at like more of a better percentile that they're going to be hitting them wheat fields. Like you would actually see them hitting those wheat fields rather than it's like the primary field that you want to hunt and they want to get into is a pea field, you know?
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think
Probably be like cotton is down here, though. It's probably all in a cycle.
Yeah.
You know, it'll come back around. I mean,
for sure. I think I did see way more corn up there this year.
I did too.
Like, I mean, I would say kind of like the ducks, exponentially more.
in Peace River?
No, in the South Camp.
Camp?
Yeah, in Peace
Were
River.
they shelling that corn
So
or leaving it standing?
some they had left like 2 fields I saw were still standing by the time I left, but
I think
they
that's
had,
because beef prices are so high.
Yeah,
Nobody's
for the cattle.
confirmed that, but I think some
But
of these guys.
they were all every cornfield had cows in it.
Yep.
Even
I think
the
some of
cut
these
ones.
guys that had planters that could plant corn, I think they planted some corn and they're going to buy up some cows and let them winter in that corn. That's my hunch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think because I would say
We're
there
about to
was
find. Or I'm about to find out.
Yeah.
You, Garrett.
there was
Rotation here.
there was sweet corn, sweet corn. There was
Private land ducks.
I don't know. I guess there was probably last year there was 1 big cornfield in my area, and this year there was probably like 8. So I mean, good many more. And we had several hunts in the corn, which you know it's always nice to hunt in corn. Such a good hide that makes it nice. But yeah. So anyway, definitely a little different. I mean, it's cool when you do get to go back to the same area and learn. And
Right.
I mean, that's when you can actually kind of start forming some opinions about what the birds are doing too. You know, if you're just in one spot for a week, a year, or a couple weekends, it's hard to ever really dial in exactly what's going on.
You guys have a particular number when it comes to bird numbers on a feed with, you know, determining on the amount of clients that you guys usually run? Like, do you guys pull up to a field and you're like, that's not enough for the set of clients that we have for this
A lot
hunt?
of it depends on if how well the clients shoot.
Yeah.
You know, which is hard to know if you just got a random group coming in, but we have a lot of repeat up there. So, I mean, you pretty well know, like, all right, these guys probably need a little bigger feed. Hey, these guys, you know, can get away with, you know, whatever. But I would say even then, I mean, yeah, there's definitely like, there's stuff that I would go hunt with us that, you know, you wouldn't dare take clients to.
Right. No, that's I mean, it's kind of like an easy question to answer.
I think, you know, the main thing is just because with clients, anything that you got to count on, you know, if half the birds don't come back, you still need enough to finish out. Where if we go on a buddy hunt, half of them don't come back, and we go to Waffle House early, who cares? But, you know, it's a little, the pressure is definitely
Tim
a
Hortons.
little. Yeah, Tim Hortons. Also, Tim Hortons is a little overrated in my opinion.
I didn't even
Stop it right
I'm sorry,
now.
I never even went to it yet.
I got to throw that out there. I mean,
Greg's over here nodding, and he likes A&W. They don't have an ice maker at A&W.
nah, A&W's not. A&W's mid too. I like Boston pizza. I can do
burn
Boston
you out
pizza.
on Boston pizza in a hurry. You
But-
do lunch and dinner there every day for 6 days, and you'll be done.
Be done.
If you
There are
do,
not
if you do
12
lunch
different-
and dinner in one day and never leave, you'll be done.
Yeah, there are not
That's
12
hilarious.
different items on the menu that you want to eat.
No,
So
that's true. I
you
eat
do-
about 2 or 3 things there, but
yeah.
Slayton like that. Slayton's a real picky eater, so we had to go to Boston Pizza, and he could get his plain bacon pizza, and we'd all be good. Slayton eats like a 5-year-old. I tried so hard to get him to eat an onion the whole time I was up there. That man's 35 years old, never eaten an onion. That's crazy.
Hasn't tried it?
No, won't try one. I mean,
He says you don't like it.
no, I mean he's tried them, but he definitely doesn't like them.
Almost nothing. There's almost nothing you could say that would surprise me about Slayton. He's a piece of work. I mean, he is. He is.
He's a real good scout. I'll say
I bet.
that.
I mean, he's a hell of a killer.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
and can blow a duck call, and like, I mean, he's an all around like. Him and Barnett would be a hell of a combination.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I mean, you could learn a lot from both them two boys.
no doubt about that.
But Slayton's a character. I mean,
Yeah, no, for sure. We had a good time up there, me and him and Barnett. You know, we get Saturday afternoon off here and there and sit around and watch football and cut up, and that was always fun. But yeah, Slayton, he's like, man, I just love driving fast on these gravel roads. You know? That's what it
Don't
takes.
we all?
That's what it takes to be a good scout.
I
So.
mean, that's what I miss the most about living in South Dakota. This is grid roads. Don't
man,
go quick.
speaking of driving fast on those gravel roads, the first afternoon that we were up there, I drew short straw to take Frawley and Rich scouting. And Frawley,
We did that to you. Sorry.
yeah, screw y'all. Frawley was like, "Man, I get car sick, so I'm gonna drive." So I was like, all right, I'll navigate. You know, I hate to ask you to sit in the back, Rich, but you know, I got an idea where I'm going. Like 30 minutes later, we'd been like 2 miles down the road.
Oh,
I was
my
like,
Lord.
Frawley,
You got to put the gas.
put it in park, unbuckle your seatbelt, and get out. I said, you got to make this rental car float like Tokyo Drift. If you're not floating on these gravel roads,
It's going to take us 3 days. Take us 3 days to find a hunt like
He asked me
that.
at the house, is like, so whenever I was driving the other morning, the first morning round, was I going too slow? And I was like, yeah.
Well, yeah, because I
For
kicked
sure.
him out. He got kicked out of the driver's seat twice. But, I mean, all due respect to Frawley, it was his first year ever up there. So.
Yeah.
Well, it was my first year ever up there, too, but I just had
He
a
was
standard.
being safe. I mean,
Riding
he was
around-
being safe,
Well,
yeah.
riding around looking for turkeys is different than riding around looking for ducks. You know, maybe he was just used to turkey looking. You got to go a little slower so you can check the corners and shadows and things. But
True.
also known as rubbernecking. I mean,
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I agree with you. It's definitely different. It's definitely different.
I've been riding to work with Gert long enough to know that if he gets in a place where he's comfortable, like on a grid road, he's flying. I know that about Gert.
Speaking
I'm
of riding to
confident.
work, I'm glad you brought that up.
Uh-oh.
Have y'all noticed how dangerous it is driving up Feathers Chapel at
About
like
7:40.
7:40?
Yes.
Literally.
The sun coming through the turn.
Y'all, I drove the other
You
morning.
can't see the road.
You can't.
And you
The
got to go
other-
straight up.
The other morning when it was a really heavy frost, my defrost had not finished the window. I drove my truck off into the ditch.
Oh.
I mean, like I felt it go off the pavement, and I had my head out the window, could not see, and I just stopped and had to get out and get my bearings and like back up. And
Oh my god!
So
The
please
whole
be
sun-
careful.
The whole sun, I mean, just hits anything that you can see visibly.
It's a big hill, and the road is running straight east and west. And like you come out of this little bottom, and you get about a quarter of the way up the hill, and the sun is. Half the sun is above the road and half is below. So for the rest of the hill, you're getting the bottom half of the sun. And I mean, it is like burn your retinas.
and you're just praying that nobody else is
Nobody's
coming
coming.
down that hill.
that's kind
By the
of
time you can stop, it's too late.
It's way
I mean,
too late.
it's you're
Done.
toast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a coin flip.
Sorry for the
Oh no, I get it.
sidebar.
It was when we left Peace River and got to the South Camp, we had the same issue because I guess our positioning further north, the sun wasn't in the roads, but when we got to the South Camp, you drive west, you were looking dead in that joker. But yeah, it was. I had a group of clients come up that had hunted with me in Argentina, and they hunted with me us in Peace River, and we had some good hunts up there. And then my girlfriend came up, Laura, and we hunted one morning while she was there and had a real good hunt. Shot all our ducks and some geese, but she killed the lad. We finished the limit on a black duck, so that was pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
And then, Laura shot all her 8 ducks all on her own, like singles coming in. She was the only one shooting.
Awesome.
So that was cool. And then, like, we had a pair of specs come in just doing it just right. And called the shot, and she came up, killed the first one in one shot, and then I killed the second one. So it was pretty cool. Good hunt.
That was awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, she's
really
all,
sweet.
She's all fired up about it, wanting to go
she is.
again.
I bet she is.
But I told her, I was like, you got to understand, not every one of them's shooting 80 an hour either. Like that.
We got used to that pretty quick up there, but
So you're headed to.
Got used to what?
shooting 80 in an hour.
Oh. When you say we, you're talking about us.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
You got used to watching 80 get shot an hour.
Yeah,
There you go.
and then when it was my
We-
turn, then when it was my turn to shoot, I'd shoot like one or two. The one day he says, "Come shoot" or whatever. I get in the blind and I shot at one volley, or I think 2, and I was like, Spence, I ain't gonna lie to you, I want to be at the camera because I want to get everything I can.
It went like this, blam, 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 blam. And he went, I'm sorry, I just can't do this anymore. He's like, I'm sorry, boss. I'm not trying to disrespect you, but I'd really like to get back to the camera. I can't hit anything.
I shot
And
3 times.
I'm sorry. I'm rattled. They were coming
That's
in wads
awesome.
of hundreds.
He didn't know what to do.
I didn't. I seriously didn't.
That's awesome.
That day I turned into a duck hunter.
Yeah, I remember sitting outside the blind while you were shooting my gun, and it just looked like a little pop gun going off, and just miss. I'm like, oh, what are you
This
doing?
pure excitement from Dirk. I love it.
That's awesome. That's great.
Well, tell us a little bit about your dog that you just picked up from Adam.
Yeah, her name's Tish. She's out of Gus and Nola, which is Jeff Farmer's and Jeff Jones' dogs. And
she has definitely got the Gus vibes.
Yeah, she's chilling on a cot right now, just hanging out. So we're learning. She's 18 months old, and she's been at training camp since February. So we're kind of readjusting to civilian life. Yeah. But she's doing all right, just hanging out right now. So,
That's awesome.
she'll planning on hunting her every day I go this year. So hopefully she'll get to pick up a bunch and learn a lot.
Fun ride for sure,
no doubt. I mean, that's I've had a couple dogs before, but not one that was this level of a dog, and also just hadn't had the opportunity to hunt as much as I do now. So I feel like I really got a chance to have a special one. So we'll see, but
man, getting them reps goes a long way to making a good dog. I mean, you can take good potential and not ever see the maximization of that potential just by not getting them around enough birds. And you can take a mediocre dog and turn them into a crackerjack just by getting them in a lot. So
no doubt
you've got the stages set for. Make a hell of a dog just as many days as you get to hunt.
That's right. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully she'll start putting it all together, and that'll be fun. We got some water. I'm headed to Oklahoma, kind of on my way, just swinging through. And anyway, seems like we finally got some water out there. It's been pretty dry the last couple of years, so all the guys have been blowing me up. They all got there last week, but I had to take my week off in between, and they're all like, "Come on, man, you gotta get out here!" They're all fired up. So seems like hopefully it'll be a good year out there too.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir. So just looking forward to hanging out, seeing some clients, and shooting a mallard or two. Hopefully,
red dirt.
Yeah,
Heard that.
Oklahoma's cool. I enjoyed when we hunted over in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how cool looking it was till I looked back at the footage whenever you're editing that video. Mm-hmm. It was cool.
It's pretty out there for sure. It's I think that's one of the coolest things. I try to always pay attention to the sunrises and sunsets, and I get to see some awesome ones. I don't ever try to let one go by and at least not get up on a hill and try to watch the sun go down or something.
Doubt.
So
you only get a limited number in your lifetime.
That's
Did
right.
you see the Northern Lights?
Oh yeah, I did. A couple times we saw them. There was one night, the first night that they were out when we were in Peace River, and it was like 11 o'clock. Slayton and I were both pretty tired, so we just went to bed that night. And then they came out the next night, and he's like, "Man, we got to go," So our lodge is like down by right on the Peace River. It's pretty cool, but we had to kind of drive up the big winding road up the hill. And when we came over the hill, it was like all the way from the horizon to as high as you could see. I mean, it was like they just covered the whole sky. It was pretty cool, and it was like
What color? Green
and like red, kind of purple. Wow. And then I saw them one more
was
time.
it like dancing around and everything?
Oh yeah, we stayed up there for. We probably stayed up there. I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes, and just kind of took pictures and watched. But it wasn't like super fast, but you could tell if you sat there for 10 minutes, they definitely were moving, And then I saw them one more time at the South Camp, but they weren't as good. It was a little cloudier that night, so like you could see them off in the distance, kind of. But the first night it was crystal clear. I mean, it was like it's pretty. That's the way you want to see them. Yeah.
Hopefully we get. I didn't get to see him when we were in Canada the first run, so hopefully I get to see him the second run.
I'd say no.
No.
There
Probably
was
not.
a little bit out that morning
That
we
one,
killed.
yeah.
With
Is it like-
what's
is
his
it-
name?
Color, but you're not going to see them when it gets cold. When it gets cold up there, it dries all the moisture out of the air.
Is it like particular areas in Canada that you get to see them more like vibrant, I guess is maybe the word?
The further north, the
Yeah,
more often you see them.
I think the further north, just probably better and more often. You're just closer.
Yeah,
Right.
and they see them as far south as the Dakotas in the right conditions, but I think it's dust, isn't it? And
Moisture.
It's like a combination of moisture, dust, and then the way the light
temperature.
reflects on it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Moonlight. Yeah.
and I mean, I may be wrong. Maybe it does. Maybe it's gets. Seems like there are times in the winter that they see them.
I don't know. I know they see like the sun dogs and stuff.
Oh, I see plenty of those up
Yeah.
north.
What is that? I don't even know what that is.
When it gets below a certain temperature, you'll see three suns. Like the sun is just like up, but it's like, it's noon o'clock, and if you're looking at it, you'll see a big circle, and it gets cut off by the horizon, and they'll be at each horizontal point, there'll be another bright spot, bright spot. It's like on a bright sunny day, and it's like what, like probably anywhere from -12 to.
Drake's skeptical over there. He's got to Google it.
I was fully expecting you to say Sundogs was like a combo meal and Taco John's is,
Yeah, Taco John's.
Yeah, you get me talking about Taco John's, it's a whole different
You big
story.
Taco John's guy?
Oh my gosh.
The first time I ever ate Taco
It's not
John's
Vegas.
was
That was my first job ever.
really. That's awesome.
That's where I gained all this weight.
just as a
That's a but go to that one right there.
This one?
Yeah, that's a true sundog. See what I'm talking about? See how it gets cut off of the horizon and the two brighter points on the other
hey,
edge?
just a
What the
real
heck?
quick, trivia question. You're not eligible to answer this, Walker. How many hours is the drive from Auburn, Alabama to Peace River, Alberta?
36.
I'm going 38.
45.
36.
36. Oh,
Mine's saying 41.
Oh,
This says
what, 38?
1 day and 17 hours.
Yeah, that's
which
about
would
right.
which would be 24 plus 17 would be 41.
Yep, 41.
Holy
I think
cow.
it took. That's right.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was a haul.
That's with no stops.
did you do that by yourself this year?
Yeah.
Well, you probably do it by yourself every year, huh?
Last year I rode up with somebody else, and then he quit, and I got left. So I decided.
gosh.
Yeah, so I decided from now on I'm taking my truck, and if somebody wants to ride with me, they can. But I'm gonna have my truck so I can drive myself home. But yeah, no, I want to say I stopped. Let's see, on the way up there, I drove from Auburn. No, I left Tuscaloosa. I drove from Tuscaloosa, came by here. Drove to Parker's house in Minnesota. Girk and I's mutual friend, and then drove from there to cross the border the next morning. Spent the night somewhere in Saskatchewan. Just slept in my truck or whatever for a little while, and then drove the rest of the way to. That was on the way up there, and then on the way back. Well, then we drove to Elk Point, I guess, the South Camp. Spent 2 days, and then went to Peace River. So that went the last 7 hours to Peace River wasn't that bad.
Right.
But then on the way home, I picked Parker up in Saskatchewan. We crossed the border. I dropped him off. Spent the night in Iowa. Came here. Spent the night with Riley and Girk. Crashed on the couch, and then went back to Auburn. So yeah, but I mean, it's a long way. I definitely. Used to, like, when we were going to North Dakota, like turkey hunt trips in college, I was like a straight shot guy. Like, I'm not stopping. But I also had 2 or 3 people in the truck. But
41 hours is beyond one.
yeah, when you're by yourself, you gotta stop, and it does make it a little more enjoyable. You're not just dead tired when you get up there. But anyway, you got a week of brushing blind staring you in the face. You don't want to be too tired when you get there.
When you go up there, you hit Calgary and then go up like to Edmonton and then
I came across. I actually crossed into Manitoba and then drove like all the way across
like
Saskatchewan.
took the transcontinental, the Highway 1 or whatever that is. It goes through Moose Jaw and Regina and all that, and then
that's right.
And then Kindersley, and then
I went
up to.
From there, I went up and then
or through Lloydminster.
Yeah, I went up. I got on
Battlefords.
16, went through the Battlefords, and then crossed into Lloyd. Yeah, or went through Lloyd and came into Alberta there. Yeah.
Do you? But you have to go through the forest a bunch, don't you? It's a good 3 or 4 hours in the forest to get to Peace River.
Oh, it's at least that far. I mean, from when you leave Edmonton, pretty much you're not far. I mean, I would say 45 minutes or so.
Under an hour.
You're in the forest, and then from there it's 5 hours till you get up there, and then and it is crazy. Like, you're just riding in the middle of the woods, and you're like, this is the thickest bush, whatever, and then it pops out, and it's just this
valley,
where there's ag fields and ducks and geese. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Did y'all see any freelancers?
A few. There were some guys from North Dakota.
Can you imagine being from North Dakota?
Leaving North Dakota, and
we're gonna go to Peace River.
Drive to Peace River. Yeah.
Just wait a few weeks.
But they,
I guess it's no different than us being from Tennessee and driving to South Dakota to turkey hunt. Like, y'all got those down there, don't you?
Yeah, we do.
But not a lot. I think maybe that was it.
Yeah. Freelancers got to drive past a whole lot of stuff.
Well, you got
Peace River.
You'd have to ride by so many good feeds. You could just scout off the highway and find so many good ones. You'd be like, man, we got to stop. I'm stopping to hunt before I get up there. I mean, if I was going to freelance, I definitely wouldn't drive all the way. Ain't no way I'd drive all the way up there. But yeah, it's cool. There's a ton of mule deer up there. I mean, like,
I've heard that.
Oh my! I mean, like, you can't understand. You, like, see 30, 40, 50 in the afternoon scouting, and every buck you see is a
whoppers,
big one.
Hammer.
Like, I thought I'd seen a big mule deer last year in eastern Alberta until I went up there. No, we're not even close. I mean, there's some
whitetails up there too.
Oh, there's some big ones, but you don't see them. I mean,
and
at all.
What about any elk?
Elk, moose, grizzlies, black bears. They got it all. It's cool. I saw 2 black bears. Never saw a brown bear. Saw a bunch of moose.
We
bunch
saw
of mule
a good
deer.
many mooses.
Know all about mice.
Yeah, can't say mice. God, Girk's on the mouse hunt over there.
Oh yeah,
13.
Is that your tally?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
But anyways, moose.
Yeah, we did see a lot of moose this year, and I wonder. I mean, you think that has anything to do with the water situation? Like, you think they have years where they have a better breeding than others, or I don't know.
Humble brag, but in Africa, it's kind of like that. When it rains more, they have better game. So, I mean, I would say that yes,
Just
probably
put it on the table. Why don't
No, I mean,
In Argentina, no, they don't, but in Africa, they do. You'll notice.
in Mexico, it's just a little different.
You'll notice the Sahara flourishes in a wet year.
no, I mean, I think like they definitely, it's like elk grow bigger antlers on a wet year, but I think with the timing of the rain in the breeding season, it has a lot to do with, like, pregnancy success essentially. So, I mean, I think that would stand to reason that definitely, I think moose are definitely water animals. They're swampy, boggy type animals anyway. So I think, I mean, I don't know that for a fact, but I would definitely think there's something
Got to
to
be
that.
a correlation.
Yeah.
Because not only do we see a lot of moose this year, more than normal, I noticed almost every moose that I saw that had babies had twins. Did y'all know?
Oh,
you
wow.
know that?
Yeah.
Like, everybody, whenever somebody would say I saw a moose, if it wasn't a bull,
Right.
it had twins with
Twins. Yeah, I think, I mean, that makes sense.
They're all come out of them potholes and moist areas and things like that too.
I saw up there, there's one road that one main highway in Peace River that goes through a part of forest that was between 2 areas I scouted, and it was probably a 6-mile stretch, and I bet once a week I saw a dead moose on it. I mean, they hit them right there all the time. So yeah, when I drove through there scouting, I slowed it on down a little bit.
It's terrible. I mean, it's scary.
Yeah.
I saw a lady hit.
We
a
almost
moose.
got hit that morning when we hunted that wheat field.
I mean, looked like Bullwinkle busted out of the bushes.
And we all had to go to number 2.
My britches, yeah.
Yeah, we were all talking about how we got the nervous guts. And this,
Yeah, we had a giant feed. We were about to just blister them, and we were worried about an outfitter because he had permission in the next field. The ducks wanted to be where the outfitter had permission,
Right.
and so we were hunting on the edge in a field they didn't want to be in, trying to, but we had the wind, and so we were nervous. We pulled in that field, had the old, everybody had bubble guts from being nervous, and all of a sudden Bullwinkle jumps out of the bush. So I was like,
It was right before the field too.
It was, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a bad feeling when you're driving and the whole center line just disappears, and then it's a big old moose standing there. But anyway, yeah, it's cool. I mean, I love seeing all that, other stuff. I mean, you ride around looking for ducks, but you see so much other cool stuff too. But
Well, what's your brother up to?
he is in school, finishing that up. He's, I guess he's got probably about another year left, but he's just getting ready for duck season. I was hanging out with him last week while I was home, and he was on the phone. They're all making their little plan.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about the river and the
Where
water.
who's going to be where,
yeah.
who's getting in line.
They're like, Walker, you think we can go there? I'm like, man, somebody's going to be there, Anyway, it's funny. It's cool to kind of relive some of that, through him, the glory days of figuring it all out. But
Are you gonna come back to the woods for opening weekend?
So our season goes out the same as Arkansas's, like it runs through Thanksgiving. So the only time I told my buddy that we've got one group of clients after Thanksgiving, but some other guys, I'm going home for Thanksgiving. Well, I told him I was going for Thanksgiving. But
Yeah.
if it's right, then I might make a pit stop.
Okay.
So I might catch the tail end of the first split, but not the opener. So
Good deal.
Heck yeah.
Good deal. I'm trying to think of what else to ask you.
well, what are y'all excited for duck season? What's everybody looking forward to?
To see a limit die in the woods.
Yeah.
I didn't see a
See my
limit die
dog
in the
work.
woods.
I've gotten addicted to seeing her go. It's freaking cool when she's got a hell of a motor on her.
She's
Yeah.
a dandy for sure.
Yeah.
And Drake is very smitten.
Yeah.
It's kind of bittersweet because I was where Drake was. I'm on the other end of it. I'm on
Right.
the old girl end of it, but
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
I was sitting there looking at Tish last night thinking the same thing. I was like, I can't wait, but I know in about 8 years it's going to be a different story.
It just changes so fast, man. I can remember looking at Brooke when she was that age and knowing that she was next level great and thinking 8 years ain't going to be enough, you
Yeah.
know? But you just
Yeah.
enjoy every moment and get out there and go hunt with them.
All you can do.
I've got some water in my woods,
Oh, yeah.
so I'm trying to create something out of nothing. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I saw y'all got the blind brushed. And
We did.
Yeah.
Kirk said we did.
Kirk's in. He's going to have decals printed up back his truck. Be like, Little Reno member.
that's
I
awesome.
brushed the blind both parts, the panels and the evergreen.
That's exactly right. You did.
That's good stuff.
And
Definitely.
played photographer, videographer.
Yeah, I know Adam really enjoyed that hunt y'all had up there last year.
Yeah.
We talked about that a couple of times this summer. Just we get done training dogs and go in there and blow duck calls and talk about dogs and duck hunting all day. So, or the rest of the afternoon or whatever. But that hunt came up a couple of times. I know.
Yeah. It was a good time, and I hope we have some good hunts. I think it's going to be a good duck season, all things considered. You know.
Yeah, I do too. I got a good feeling about it.
Yep.
Yep, me too.
I feel like duck numbers are good. I know that the rivers are down and it's dry, but it's not as dry as it could be.
Right.
I mean, we've in our lifetime we've all seen way worse droughts, and I mean, I think we're gonna get some rain. I have a sneaky
Well,
feeling.
What's up?
I got to give a shout out to my dad.
Oh yeah,
Shout out.
he kill a biggin?
No, he's doing some wheeling and dealing on some hunt swapping for some turkeys.
Oh yeah. Drake
Gobble, gobble.
is officially
Yep.
A turkey hunter.
reneged on his
Yeah.
prior verbal contract to not turkey hunt once he moves into Tennessee. I mean, yesterday we had a guy come in. I won't say his name or his club, but he's a very prominent Memphian, part of a very prominent club. And I stuck my head in there and I was like, hey, we need to get this guy a black Levi cut. And Drake wheels around and he goes, does he have turkey hunting? I was like, yes, and I've already talked to him about it.
We're gonna go kill him.
He goes, wait a second. What's going on? I was like, I'm
He goes,
learning here. What do you mean?
That's right. You got to play the game.
Yeah. Also, I can't leave it out. Shout out to Mom. Happy birthday, Mom.
Oh, yeah. Happy birthday, Sandy.
birthday.
Woo, woo, woo. Man, I wish.
There it is.
We need to call somebody in Stuttgart that we trust with the recipe and have somebody make Sandy an orange drink today.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Who could we get to do that?
I bet Tony would be a good applicant.
Can he be trusted with the recipe?
Yeah, but he'd probably swap it out for tequila instead of vodka because that's her favorite.
I've
know
never
if that
had
would-
an orange drink yet.
Ever?
The whole year being here.
Wow.
Are you trying to like make me feel bad, or what are you like?
Dang.
What?
That is my motion.
How
yeah.
did you miss this?
I don't know.
Have you
Were
had an
you at the
orange drink
golf?
this year?
Oh, you were at the golf. You weren't at the golf scramble.
Had plenty of
No,
You were in
I
a
was
wedding or some silliness,
Silliness.
or you were in something, weren't you?
Yeah, I was
What
at a
it?
wedding, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, silliness. I mean, who plans their wedding during the first weekend of June? Everybody knows that's the Rolling Thunder Golf Scramble.
That is true.
I forgot that when I was getting hired on. But anyways, orange drink.
I'm sorry, Girk, that you've not had an orange drink.
No,
Maybe we can make you
wasn't-
one today on the
I
golf
wasn't really
course.
that sad. Yeah, we could.
Yeah, we
make
got
one.
some ingredients in the tuner room
Yeah.
Yeah.
left behind.
I'll tell you what.
Surrendered.
We'll make we'll make a batch of orange drink about 3 o'clock.
Beautiful.
I like
the
the sounds
last
of this.
30 minutes of the day, you can partake in some orange drink. Since y'all have a 3:37 tea time this afternoon. Some of the country club runs a tight ship, man. They don't have any rental golf carts, but their tea times are
You better be there.
every other minute, odd
Yep.
minutes. So the 3:35 crew will be ahead of you.
Yeah, he said it to have at it. So
We're gonna go have at it.
I don't know. Is the course in good shape? Is anybody?
don't really
haven't-
care.
We haven't
honestly.
gave it a drive by. Last time we drove by,
I'm never in good shape when I'm golfing, so
last
We're about
time
to
we
just
drove
go
by,
and
they
knock
had the
'em
pin
around.
pulled about 30 yards short of the green.
In the fairway.
Yeah, in the fairway, cut the grass real short and had a hole dug. Perfect. Yeah, that's all we need.
Was that back in the summer?
That was definitely back in the summer. There's,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they redid the greens. That was why we didn't have the tournament there. But all right. Well, with all that being said, we're really glad you stopped in to see us, Walker.
Oh yeah, good. Enjoyed it as always.
Oh, yeah.
it's always fun when you're around.
Oh yeah, we always have a good time.
Go have yourself a rotation year.
Yeah.
Even if you crash at the Karcher house,
Welcome to the rotation year.
the rotation year is a serious thing.
Yeah.
And it rolls into 2024.
Girk has
rotates.
assured us that this is a rotation year. So
It rotates. Yeah.
make sure you
Dr. Grid
get
knows
all
what he's
the-
talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
make sure you get all the details from Dr. Grid. That'll
Message
be
me on Instagram for any migration reports.
For any rotational.
Yeah, rotational.
If you got any
report.
questions about your rotational year sequences, just let me know.
A weekly rotational update.
Yes. All listeners of the podcast, please send Dr. Grid a direct message.
Yeah.
Please.
I will answer within quick response.
You're amazing, Gert.
Thanks, Spence.
You're amazing.
I try to be amazing.
There's people going to
Go ahead. Oh my
ahead.
God, I wish you would quit chewing on that ice.
I know.
Bag of amazing.
A bag of amazing. Mm-hmm. If there was a bag of amazing, you'd be right in the top of it, Gert.
Right inside of it.
We got to cut. Oh my gosh! I don't even. It's like flashbacks to middle school. I don't even know what we're making jokes about anymore.
We're
I
tired.
could make a joke, that's for sure.
Oh well, Walker, thanks for stopping in. It's good to visit with you.
Yes, sir. Always is. Glad to see everybody, and
Yeah,
good luck this duck season.
yeah. Everybody be safe out there.
Everybody send some
Stay
pictures,
vigilant.
post them up.
Yep.
Like see what everybody's killing.
Yeah. Good luck on the rotation year. Hope Oklahoma benefits from rotation year like we think Arkansas and Tennessee are going to.
I hope so.
All right.
Hashtag Levi Cup.
Hashtag rotation year.
Hashtag peace out.
We will catch y'all on the next one.
See
Roll
y'all.
Tide.
Hey, y'all, this is Spence and Frawley, and just wanted to say thank you for listening to another episode of our podcast. We really, really enjoy producing this podcast and would be really grateful if wherever you get your podcasts, if you would subscribe to the Rolling Thunder podcast and give us a 5-star rating. Somehow, apparently, out there in internet la media land, that helps our podcast to be found by other people like you. So we just want you to know we appreciate you listening, and we'd like to ask you to subscribe and give us a 5-star review and keep on listening.
And unfortunately, recording podcasts don't pay the bills, so we just do this for fun and for y'all, and we want it to grow as bad as y'all want it to grow, so we could really use your help in doing that.
Share it with a friend.
Yes, right. We appreciate y'all stopping by again.
Thanks for listening.